And even though today I don't necessarily have a formula for you, what I do have is the invitation to approach these moments when you're tackling big projects, when you're tackling a goal that you know is going to take some time, with a curious mindset. Hello there. Welcome to another episode of the Free Unis Project. Today, I don't really have a script, and to be honest, I have been feeling like I was probably overambitious and ovulating when I decided to launch the podcast back in this particular season of my life. It's been very easy for me to write about things, more so than sitting down and planning what to talk about here on the podcast. And that is probably because the world is on fire. I am a psychopath and I'm taking 3 classes for my marketing program on top of working, on top of living. So I am still trying to figure out what, if at all, works for me showing up in my other areas of existence that have nothing to do with work, school, or feeding my cat. But the truth is that I do want to keep attempting to showing up. And I think that's something that I'm not the only one that grapples with. If you are a person with big dreams, a person that, it's trying to figure out how to make those dreams come true from wherever you are, which for the majority of us is not necessarily a place where we can just wave our fingers or invest some money and ta-da, what we want is done. It can be really hard to move back and forth through our different areas of priority in life. And that's something that I, even though have done it in the past, I truly struggle with. I struggle with figuring out how to divide my pie chart of time, resources, and mental space when I have so many things that I want to work on. And even though today I don't necessarily have a formula for you, what I do have is the invitation to approach these moments when you're tackling big projects, when you're tackling a goal that you know is going to take some time, with a curious mindset. Because what is going to be required from you in these moments is something that you can't predict when you get into the commitments, at least not 100%. And so when you get into this commitments of, okay, I am going to go to grad school, I'm going to build a business, I'm going to build my health, you're going to have to obviously dedicate time and mental space to these things. And as you start doing that, that action of focusing and prioritizing those things is going to show you how your pie of time and resources shifts in real time. And that is what I'm been trying to do, is really paying attention to what the pie is telling me. Because although this is not the first time that I tackle work and school and a bunch of different responsibilities, the last time I did this was a different me, right? And so doing it now requires a different set of energy, a different set of resourcing and commitments and time management and support systems that I have to be open to decoding in real time and figuring out what's helping and what's hurting. And it takes a while. It takes a while, and it takes a lot of humility to understand that the new system is not going to be in place the moment you start to commit to a bigger goal. B, and this is the part that is kind of painful for me to acknowledge, but you might need to pace yourself with other projects because some things might be requiring more of your attention. And so in that dance of figuring out how to take care of all of the things that you want to take care of in your life buckets, you're going to have this dance of, if my focus or my priority is going to be this thing, that means that even though I also want to do this other thing, this one might have to be done at like a second level priority instead of first level priority, because these are my reasons to focus on this one thing. And for somebody that wants to do all of the things and wants to do them now and has this pressure of maybe society or family, if you're from a Latino family or an immigrant family, you might have a lot of pressure to like get your shit together. And so it can be challenging to allow yourself the space to play with your own data in real time. But it is exactly that space that will allow you to move from project to project. That is the space that is going to help you to free out this pressure that you probably carry in your brain and in your heart and in your mind, that is telling you that you have to do everything now and everything has to be sorted out ASAP. And so what my pie chart is looking like right now is my blog, in terms of like my business side of things. So I have my website. I created that last semester through one of the classes. So I said, you know what, if this is an assignment that I have to do, I might as well work on my business. That was a really good way that I could marry two big goals of mine. This year, I am being asked to blog as part of my assignments in my marketing class. So obviously those are geared towards marketing, but it's also helping me figure out how to go back into writing and how to get back into writing for myself, in the sense of writing first and using tools like AI or whatever to help me shape it, and then take that and deconstruct it back to something that feels more me, or use it more for the technical aspects of like, hey, help me write this in a way that it shows up on Google, or that it shows up on like ChatGPT when people are asking about these things. And so these are the ways that I've been finding that I can merge two of the big priority items for me, because in reality is I probably bit off more than I can chew with attempting to work full time and go to school super full time, take my content and like start that again, which it hasn't happened on social. I haven't really given anything much love, and then attempting to plan a wedding. So my pie chart right now looks like my focus is in grad school. My focus is on getting that off the finish line, also getting my responsibilities at work, because it's work, right? I need to like show up for that, and then figure out how, with the little pockets of time that I have left, not only make space for the business and the other goals that I have, but also make space to like sit down and chill. And we forget, we overestimate how much time we have in a day. And so at least I do. We can fill that day to the brim and then beat ourselves up because we only did a third of the things that we said we wanted to do. And so if that happens to you too, and you're trying to figure out like how your 24-hour pie chart looks like and what you actually have capacity to do, I want to give you some prompts. I want to give you some questions and some really cool things that I've learned through life and grad school. But the first question that you and me should really be asking ourselves is, every morning, what is the one thing that I cannot not do today? What is the thing that if I only did one thing in my day, it had to get done? Because I am kind of weird with those things. I usually do the top 3 things. But when we break things up into smaller chunks and we set a low bar in quotation marks, just for a lack of a better word, like when we focus on like the top 1 to 3 things that we have to do, it's easier to feel accomplished than defeated. And so in any given day, usually what that would look like for me is 1 thing for work, 1 thing for school, and like my random card that sometimes is life, chores, couples time, coaching, etc. So that is one tool that's helping me figure out what my 24 hours look IRL every day. Another thing that's been helpful for me is to figure out my rhythm. For the longest time, I've been wanting to wake up earlier and like have the mornings for myself and go back to a routine that I used to have a long time ago in a pre-COVID galaxy far, far away. And I haven't been able to. My brain gets super creative at night and then I'm super exhausted in the morning. And so I still want to get to that place where I can wake up in the morning and have some time before I have to sit down and do stuff. But in the meantime, you know what? Like, this particular routine right now is not hurting me. And so what if instead of having the pressure of trying to change it for something that I think is going to work better, but I really don't know because this routine is working, I'm gonna ease up on it. I'm gonna take it a little easier and see what happens when I let my body like naturally do what it needs to do. Now, mind you, I know that we are not all in the same bucket of privilege to have flexibility around our schedules, around our time. I know we are sometimes more tied to like other people and other commitments than others. And so all of these prompts are meant to help you explore what can you do in your particular situation. And at the end of the day, this is just a reminder for all of us that we're always evolving, and it is so easy to romanticize what has worked for us in the past because it worked for us in the freaking past. Like, I mean, we would be stupid not to think about the things that worked for us in the past because they helped us get somewhere. They were tried and they were true. But as much as we romanticize and have these ideas of what helped us get places in the past, we also parallelly have to be curious and open-minded enough to think about what can work for us now. You know, Coca-Cola has been in business forever. They were really big with the sodas, and now we are seeing a decline in soda consumption. So it is fucking nuts for Coca-Cola to think that they can continue doing what they were doing when it worked back in the day, back even like 2-3 years ago, because now there is a shift into other sets of habits and other sets of goals that require Coca-Cola to have a different strategy, like acquiring healthy drinks and other stuff. But the point is, Let's treat ourselves like we are a legacy brand. Let's treat ourselves like we're Coca-Cola, and understanding that what got us to all of our cumulative successes was amazing. And absolutely, yes, we can borrow from it. But let's also look at our present and our future and what's happening in the world and what's happening in our lives, and creating the space for us to move to and through our goals with a little less pressure and with a little bit less of the voices of our parents or whoever put pressure on us to perform and succeed and excel, spoken through our own selves. You know what I mean? We sometimes become the voice that we said we weren't going to be. And it makes sense. But when that happens, can we catch it and create a curious pathway to figure out our own way? That's all I have for today. And I hope I see you in the next episode. Bye bye.